I don't know why I'm not as depressed. Normally, this is a really bad week for me, and as a result, my colleagues and coworkers, because I'm a much moodier grouch when the NFL season ends. And I haven't reached that stage of depression yet. Maybe it comes in the slower sports months when the spring rolls around. And I'm just throwing out a couple reasons why that may be the case. The Cowboys out of it for a while. So it's not like a fresh cut that I'm starting to try to heal up. It was cut a while back in the winter. Well, I guess we're still in the winter. It was cut a while back towards the end of the regular season. So that wound has had time to heal. This was one of the worst NFL seasons. I thought it was a phenomenal playoff and postseason. It was one of the worst seasons for a number of reasons that I can remember in a long time, from play to officiating to all the arguing and debating back and forth over a number of different issues. It to me just was an uglier, sloppier NFL season that I can say goodbye to easier. That makes sense?
Yeah, the officiating stunk all year. The best part of this year's NFL season was Tony Romo. I mean, let's be real. He was.
Yeah.
The NFL season was a bit of a letdown. From the Cowboys' perspective, from general, I mean, there was, you had no Aaron Rodgers in the postseason, and it just felt like a bit of a letdown to me.
So in looking back and saying goodbye, normally with much more depression, I was sitting here saying, man, the amount of surprises, the best thing about the season besides Romo was probably the surprises. Once again proving, especially this year, we have no idea. Like predictions to me, I'm gonna start. I know predictions are a good thing because people can hold you to them, and when it blows up in your face, you can get made fun of on Twitter. When you hit something like Choppy on Dak Prescott in year one, you can look like a genius. Predictions are good because they're bold takes that are put out there.
Mm-hmm.
But predicting the NFL, besides the Patriots, makes us all look stupid. So I decided to write down the 10 biggest surprises of the year that none of us could have saw coming. And it kind of makes me feel weird. I'm probably going behind the curtain too much and babbling. But I don't even want to preview like free agents this year unless they're big time names, because we don't know about a Corey Clement. We have no idea. These guys that are going to go ahead and surprise a Mike Gillislee, these guys at guard and offensive line and these no-name players that help contribute to these teams and eventually Super Bowl titles. And Nick Foles, we'll just start off right there. Well, we'll start off with the Eagles quarterbacks. My top 10 surprises of the year that no one saw coming.
By the way, Sean, I want to have a conversation, though, about when Nolan Carroll signs with the Cowboys in the offseason. When that type of player comes around, okay, we need to touch on that impact that they're going to have, because we know.
So the Eagle quarterbacks, forget about the surprise of Nick Foles doing what he did. Nobody, well, I guess a few people saw the Eagles as contenders in the NFC East.
I didn't get it. I didn't get it at the time. I was, you listen to some national guys. There was national love for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah.
And I didn't understand it.
There's tape of me saying somewhere, no matter what happens this year, no matter what, and I have to own it, the people who predict Filthy as an NFC East winner for the division, that's not happening. That's the one thing. You can book it. You can count on it. It's locked in stone. It will not happen. And then Carson Wentz goes out and plays like an MVP after last year. He didn't want to throw passes or attempts past 3 or 4 yards.
I know. I did not understand it. I didn't understand the Eagle love. Obviously now we got some egg on our face.
Yes.
Which we pull those eggs out from the middle of the carton, by the way.
That's right.
But I don't understand the Eagle love at the beginning of this past season. And now I totally get it.
So the Eagles' success and the quarterback's number one. Let's keep it in the NFC East. The Giant meltdown. Now, I know that Odell Beckham got hurt. And we knew going into the year, basically from our scout team, that the Giants' offensive line was weak. But still, couldn't they rely on that defense? Fantastic up front. Big names in the secondary.
And the passing weapons. Odell, Brandon Marshall, Sterling Shepard coming along.
Did you say Evan Ingram?
No, because people just looked at those three and said that's the best three man wide receiver core in the NFL.
This was a 2-horse race in the East. It was us and the Giants. Which one was it going to be? Because that's definitely what was going to happen. The Giants finished 31st in defense, and they fell apart defensively like the Denver Broncos did with not enough on the other side of the ball.
They fell apart. Like
Giant falling apart.
Yeah, big time. That meltdown of their defense, and I don't even want to call it a meltdown of the defense because I wonder how much of it they were just on the field the entire time.
Yeah.
So that was the early Broncos defense, the way they played, that was a big surprise. When the Cowboys went up there, and they just got worked by Trevor Siemian. Trevor Siemian had a game. That was a massive surprise to me.
Nobody saw the fall, maybe the most disappointing team in the entire league, of the Oakland Raiders. 12-4 the year before. Derek Carr, much like Carson Wentz, was going to win the MVP. 2 years ago, Carson Wentz was going to win the MVP. Just like Carson Wentz. Then he got hurt at the end of the season. And then this year, Amari Cooper drops everything in sight. The defense still stinks. And the Raiders finished 6-10. That's why Del Rio, fresh off an extension, gets whacked. John Gruden, Chucky, comes in. But it was Pittsburgh, New England, or the Raiders, and no one else in the AFC discussion. No one else. And Oakland bottomed out.
The AFC West was thought to be the best division.
Yes.
And, look, I mean, the division was down. Like, I have no problem saying next year, man, that's still going to be a really good division. I have no problem saying that. The Chargers are going to be good. Raiders are probably better. Denver, if they get a quarterback, will be a better team. Who knows what Kansas City's going to do? They still got a good roster. So I have no issue saying the AFC West is going to be really, really solid next year. But the AFC as a whole has been so non-NFL. Like, the NFC is everything the NFL tries to be. Parity, new team every year.
Yeah.
The AFC has literally been Brady, Manning for this entire decade. And if you go back to the last decade, well, Ben went to 3. So throw him in there. But yes, really since 2001, it's been Brady and Manning with a couple guys making a random run. And that is not what the NFL tries to be. The NFL has avoided what they have in the AFC right now.
Another surprise to wrap up the 17-18 season, the fall. I don't even know there was a rise, but the absolute disappointment of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers offense. People were saying, us included, they may have the best collection of weapons in the NFC. Mike Evans, Deshaun Jackson. They go and get the kid, O.J. Howard, the tight end.
Doug Martin, Hamster returning.
What's going on with Muscle Hamster? Jameis Winston along with Mariota. Is he going to ascend? Is he going to rise? Is he going to establish himself? Is this going to be a statement year? And there's very few teams that I can't stand more than Tampa Bay because of what a disappointment they are. And shockingly enough, they finished 9th in offensive yards this year.
Right.
9th in offensive yardage for Tampa, even though they were 5-11 and 4th in the NFC South. But the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they're not as bad a disappointment as the Raiders because no one thought Tampa was a true contender, but they're not far behind to me.
I think the biggest surprise for me regarding Tampa is that Dirk Cutter kept his job.
Yes.
That's the biggest surprise.
Yes.
How did this cat keep his job?
Yes.
And think of Tampa. My goodness. I mean, that was – there's no next step for them. Where was their next step? That was supposed to be it. Oh, it's 10-6. I can see them winning 10 games. I can see them winning 9 games.
Another stunner throughout this NFL season. Keenum and Thielen. Are you kidding me? No one's surprised the Minnesota Vikings have a fantastic defense. Everyone respects Mike Zimmer at this point, but you lose your quarterbacks, your top 2. Case Keenum comes in and throws for 3,500 yards, 22 touchdowns to 7 interceptions. Nobody ever could have predicted that. And then a guy like Adam Thielen, 91 catches, 1,276 yards. Surprised he only had 4 touchdowns, but 14 yards a catch. They lose Dalvin Cook, a guy that our guys liked out of Florida State, but Keenum and Thielen did not sit there and they did not embarrass the Vikings offense.
No.
who's normally led by their D.
Yeah, the Vikings offense was pretty decent, and Case Keenum had a year. Mike Zimmer proved to be an elite head coach. At least this year he did. He's a very good coach. Very good. Always has been. The Vikings and Adam, for losing Cook and still doing a good job on offense, is a real surprise and a big time credit to them. I'll tell you another running back that surprised the heck out of me. I didn't think Leonard Fournette was going to have the kind of year he did. I didn't think that. I knew I liked Jacksonville this year. I did not think they were going to be, obviously, at the beginning of the year, an AFC title contender. Didn't think that until about week 5. But Leonard Fournette had a pretty decent year. Stunned at the Giants' fall.
What?
The Giants' fall.
Oh, we're going back to the Giants.
Yeah, I didn't comment on that.
Okay.
I'm stunned on the Giants' fall.
All right, I wrote down Kareem Hunt on here. 1,327 yards, third-round pick out of Toledo, and we saw it on night 1 versus the Patriots. No team transformed themselves more, in my opinion, than the New Orleans Saints. You could not tell anyone going into the season, maybe some of our draft guys, because I like the personnel that they got as rookies, you're not going to tell me that the New Orleans Saints are going to rely on their run game with pass-happy Sean Payton and their defense, and that Adrian Peterson isn't going to be the one to do it. It's going to be Ingram, who Chris Carter gave a shout-out to live on our show at Radio Row, and then Choppy's boy Alvin Kamara, who stole my Dunkin' Donuts and tried to steal our white wine. But the transformation of the New Orleans Saints, this has always been a team like Atlanta, where you're like, oh, they could win 11, they could lose 11. And they're even more inconsistent than Atlanta. Now it feels like they have a solid base and foundation to where they're definitely going to win at least 10 games next year because they have the run game, they have a defense to go along with the Hall of Fame quarterback.
They do. And Alvin Kamara, most electrifying player in the NFL last year. No arguments around here, boys and girls. They're going to be a good team again. Mark Ingram is going to slow. I mean, he's going to get old. I mean, he's getting old. I mean, it's been for a running back. Mark Ingram's like ancient at this point. So I expect him to take a step back. Saints will be good, though. They'll be good again.
What about the Rams offense? Are you kidding me?
This was probably the surprise of the year for me.
You go into and who has a bigger black eye than Jeff Fisher?
All the quarterbacks he let go.
Keenum?
He's Foles.
Foles?
You see the video going around today of him releasing Nick Foles in 2016. Hey, bud, I think you'll land on your feet. I hope you do.
My
Good
gosh,
luck to
Jeff
you.
Fisher should get banished as a head coach. But the Los Angeles Rams offense, the most exciting one in the league to watch.
It was fun.
We saw it up close here in Arlington.
Todd Gurley, if quarterback wasn't,
I've ruined the day. I remember where I was. I was in Kavanaugh and KT's condo as Mike Fisher is ruining my Saturday with trade proposals. Amari Cooper.
That was Julio.
Oh, no. It was Crabtree and Gurley for Julio. And I said no.
Yeah, you said no. It's okay.
It hurts.
It's okay. You know, I decided, because I'm going to be commissioner of the league this year, Roy. I'm going to take over for you. We're making this a keeper league, and I'm going to keep Kamara and Gurley.
Okay.
You can start your own league wherever you want.
So, anyway, if quarterbacks weren't so overvalued, Todd Gurley's your MVP. Like, in 1996, Todd Gurley would have won the MVP. But we value the quarterback position so much more in 2018 that Todd Gurley had no chance. Todd Gurley had an amazing year.
Yes.
Sean McVay had an amazing year. We saw him in the airport. Jared Goff had an amazing year. This was a good, fun team to watch. Cooper Kupp, of all people. Robert Woods. I mean, they had a great year. Higbee, the tight end.
Those are some of my major surprises of the NFL season, showing